Got one more day. The trial.
2 trials.
Final day.
Final day.
February 25th, 9:47 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 2. Please don't have this be 2 trials again. Oh, good
It
God.
is. 2 trials. Sorry. This is the defendant lobby, alright? But there's no defendant.
Hopefully it'll go quicker because you don't need to fumble around with
I've been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? Where's Emma for that matter? I haven't done this case in a while though, that's right, I keep cheating.
Yeah, but you're allowed to cheat because you've already beaten the case.
I have beaten the case already. Multiple times. There's only one part, there was one part I had to do. I had to cheat on before I beat it. And that's the part I'm literally going to stop and ask you what I should do. Because I know the answer, but it's not as obvious as it seems. What's Emma for them? It almost seems as if... Who the fuck does it?
Something's been happening behind the scenes? Yo.
Hold on, I need to figure out who the fuck it is. Oh, it's Edgeworth.
Something's been happening behind the scenes.
That's why you do know. Edgeworth!
Who the owner of the 777 ID number is, that is.
Well, I have a pretty strong hunch. Looks like I'm not the only one who's figured it out.
Really the reason this trial didn't reach a verdict because there's still room for doubt regarding this ID number. That number does belong to police staff, and no doubt well, it hasn't been officially charged.
True. Not yet.
That's all doubt that's in the loop. 5 minutes later, when Chief Prosecutor Sky will be found guilty.
But she didn't do it! This is the first time he's ever done something like this. Lana's hiding something, and the only way we'll get him to know the truth is to draw it out of him. Everything goes back to the SL9 incident.
Don't be stupid. Today is the last day of the trial. We don't have time to reminisce about the past.
That depends on you. If she's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened.
This is it.
This is it. If I'm ever going to find out what Chief Gant has on her, it's now.
February 25th, 10 a.m., District Court, Courtroom number 9. Court is now in session for the... Oh, wait,
Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lorna Scott. The defense is ready, Your Honor.
Prosecution is ready, Your Honor.
Normally, this is when the prosecution puts forth its opening statement. But before that, the police chief has a proposal to make. Hello, Moros. I teleport. Morning, folks. How's everyone doing? Hey, Haji, been back to the pool yet? No, I've been jotting enough as it is in my work. Oh, that's a good one. Don't think I can top that.
No. If you don't mind my asking, exactly what is it proposed?
Lana, that is to say, the defendant, has asked me if she could speak directly to the court. She wants to do what now? Haven't heard what she intends to say. I feel she should be granted her request. In the end, this should save everyone a lot of time and trouble. Yeah, you need to stop thinking of yourself.
What's this all about? Oh, I know what it's all about. She's gonna confess to everything she had.
Well then, what's your request?
I'd like you to put an immediate end to the trial.
Huh?
I confess to all charges against me.
Yep, that's exactly.
February 25th, that issue that I'm ready to take the first in the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office.
There's also one other thing that nobody stopped to think about.
What?
How the fuck did he get there?
I know.
Because he didn't walk.
But yes.
Lana!
Okay, now it's time to dick over Lana. Excuse me, I'm being called.
You can't! Got it. The defense claim does not change, and the defense is clear.
In that case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services.
Lana!
Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to defend. The prosecution may lack direct evidence against me. It has sufficiently proven his case the testimony and circumstantial evidence. I would like you to render your verdict now, if you please.
Well, the defendant certainly has the right to self-representation. The request is legally valid, although this is an unprecedented situation. Indeed, it appears there's no further need to continue this trial, even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise. This can't be happening. It appears the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant... Objection!
Edgeworth.
Hi, guys.
One moment, Your Honor.
Mr. Edgeworth?
The prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Any ruling at this stage would certainly be premature. Yo.
Come now, Worthy. I understand this is a difficult time for you. Apologize, we have to switch controllers at the moment. I understand this is a difficult time for you. Why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut, huh?
I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Gant.
What?
Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes.
I wonder whose side he's on.
Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you would have me be. With this sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me some kind of deal was struck behind the scenes.
Some kind of deal, huh? Not everyone operates as you do, are they?
I thought so. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness.
Oh, to who?
As its first witness, the prosecution would like to call Miss Emma Skye.
You can see that coming, did you?
Oh, I totally did.
Me too. Gotta have it in front of me.
I request the court hear her testimony.
Mr. Edgeworth, I'm exercising my right to self-representation. I don't think we need it.
I don't care what you think, Miss Skye. The exposure of the truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it would be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it.
Very well. The court shall grant the prosecution's request. That's okay with you, right, Chief Gant? Brother, you'll live to regret this, mark my words.
Ms. Emma Skye, please take the stand.
Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by the reins.
Now then, please state your name and occupation.
My name is Emma Skye. Occupation, I'm Lana's little sister, and I want to be a scientific investigator.
2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer Joe Dock of the Joe Dock killings. Is this correct?
Yes. I'm trying my hardest to forget about that, though.
I'm sorry. But I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to recall those events one more time.
Mr. Edgeworth, please remember this trial concerns the murder of Detective Goodman. Is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago really all that relevant?
Yes, it most certainly is.
Well, okay then. Sure gave him pass.
Now, please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago.
The trip to yesteryear has finally begun. It's bound to lead to the truth behind this trial. We shall find out!
I was waiting in my sister's office that day. The man came running in and took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me. I'll never get that story I saw on that news. The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest.
It's a good thing you weren't harmed.
I passed out. I don't remember much.
You didn't pass out.
It's understandable. However, please tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, what does this testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder?
That will soon become apparent, Your Honor.
You've got to admire him for his courage, considering he has no evidence. Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination. Are you ready for this?
Can you tell us about that? Oh, wait.
What am I doing? I'm skipping a lot, that's the reason.
Why? The lights?
Wait, let's see. You see, there's a reason why I want to get something really fast and quickly. Now we do. This picture of the witness tree. I believe it has a very important meaning.
The list of evidence I was given 2 years ago didn't contain the picture.
Did it not? Fucking, it's not what I want to do. There it is. Or did it?
Yep.
There's a reason why I purposely was avoiding showing it. Magical. Gee, that's suspicious. Goodness, would you mind if we added this statement to your testimony?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Edgeworth, this little girl put all her heart into drawing that picture. And yet you would insist on denying its existence.
Hello? Hey, I'm not the bad guy.
I love how he did that on purpose.
All I'm saying is that, as the prosecutor for that case, I wasn't handed such a picture.
That may well be. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Behold!
That is the evidence list for the SL9 incident.
Please turn it over, Your Honor. Turn it over? Turn it... Ah! What's this? Here.
Yes, what is it?
Hey, that's it! That's the picture I drew!
Shit. Spin the silver. Indeed, two men appear to be wrestling here.
What's the meaning of this? What are you doing with that list?
Me?
Only a prosecutor in charge should have access to that.
Huh? These lists, they're different from each other.
What?
It would appear, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. These two lists fit together to form one. You can see the marks here where they were torn apart from each other. So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, it's quite obvious from him. 2 years ago, only half of the evidence in that case ever reached you.
What? What?
Order! Order!
That's a
So,
mixed
Miss
up.
Guy, why did you draw your picture on the back of such an important list?
Because that's what Detective Goodman handed me when we were questioning him, Your Honor.
Wait a minute. If this list was torn in half, then that means Your Honor, you are right, Mr. Wright. Your eyes are bulging from your head. If the evidence list was torn in half, then there might be more of the drawing on the back of Mr. Edgeworth's list. Yes, that's quite conceivable, Mr. Edgeworth.
Possible. Let's see more.
You know what it is? I'm not gonna do it until you tell me you think it was on the back of it. I know what it is. It's really fucking fun. Is something wrong? Do you even have to ask?
Sorry, Your Honor. There is indeed something drawn on the back of my list. It's that thing!
Da, 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 da.
The blue badger.
That's the thing that was dancing in the evidence room.
This act of vandalism is the work of a certain chief of detectives.
I guess he was out of scrap paper. So, very well, witness. Will you please testify about this picture you drew 2 years ago?
Oh, yes, sir, Your Honor.
It's funny. She seemed to be thinking about something when she was looking at the picture.
This is a picture I drew 2 years ago. The flash of lightning was so bright all I could see were shadows. After that, I must have painted. This picture shows exactly what my son that hits it.
To think of... Oh,
To
wait.
think that a flash of lightning could burn such an image in your mind. Thanks to that, though, she was able to show us exactly what she saw. Well, I don't see any contradictions here. This clearly shows Joe Dark about to murder prosecutor Neil Marshall.
Or does it?
The defense may not begin its cross-examination.
It definitely shows someone about to murder somebody. But are we sure it was Joe Dark about to murder Neil Marshall and not, the other way around?
Objection!
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this picture the witness drew contains a blatant contradiction.
What? But
Don't keep dating Maya.
But I still remember, just like it was yesterday.
You're still right. Perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointed out this contradiction for us. What part of this picture contradicts the autopsy report? Well, what do you think it is?
I haven't seen the autopsy report in a bit. I don't remember.
Take that!
Do you figure it out yet? No? Would you like to see the picture? See the
It's
comparison?
not missing its tip.
It's exactly what she saw.
Mm-hmm.
Contradiction first lies here. Take a look at the knife the man is holding. If you look closely, you can see its tip is broken. Even I don't have to look closely to see that, Mr. Wright.
But Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. See the murder weapon, its tip is broken too.
If I recall, the tip of the knife was found broken off in the victim's body. Did you figure it out yet?
How could the broken tip of the knife be in the victim's body if the knife was already broken when she saw him stabbing him?
Sure. Let's find out.
It was the conclusive piece of evidence that proved Joe Dark was the murderer. I'm afraid
it's not so simple, Alan.
And where, pray tell, could you possibly see a problem? The knife.
It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound to the back. I'm waiting for you to find the actual
The victim was only
The victim was only stabbed once. The murder weapon should not yet be broken. Ah! What's the meaning of this?
Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand. Everyone's objecting.
Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, it couldn't possibly wind up there. That's right, but what does this mean?
Everybody's objecting today. The tip of the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body. The only possible explanation is the witness's memory is mistaken.
Objection! That's why I asked her so many times if she was sure she remembered correctly. I believe you were annoyed at the time, but she was sure she remembered correctly. Let's skip the line.
But there's no other way to explain this inconsistency. Yes, there is.
Not so fast, Mr. Erdrich. There is another explanation. Have you forgotten already about a little something called falsified evidence?
You're treading on thin ice, Wright.
I'm saying is that this broken knife tip might be the piece of evidence that was forged. You can't deny the possibility.
No. Ah! Order, order, order.
Order, order, order! Are you saying that the investigation really was corrupted? Your Honor, please allow me to once again go over the events that took place the day of the murder. The police department and the prosecutor's office were holding a ceremony that day. After receiving the King of Prosecutors award at the ceremony, Neil Marshall questioned Joe Dark along with Damon Gang. During his questioning, Joe Dark fled the room. Prosecutor Marshall chased after him and was killed by Dark. It is my belief that somewhere in this story, there is a lie.
The man really was holding up a broken knife. If that's true, then there's no other way around it. This could not have been the actual murder weapon. There must have been another broken knife.
Is there?
What are the chances of there being?
What are the chances of there being two broken knives? The broken knife besides Joe Dark's. Is there? The witness is this adamant about the accuracy of what she saw. It can't just be explained away by a simple observational error.
Mr. Wright.
In that instant, Emma really did see a broken knife. I assume then that you have some information about this other broken knife? If so, please feel free to enlighten us. Well, there's only broken prior to the murder. It's only one way. Didn't figure it out yet.
The halberd.
Yep. Yep.
The answer lies in the...
The answer lies in the past. 2 years in the past. Right here inside this picture.
This is a picture of the awards ceremony. Ah!
What is it, Mr. Edgeworth?
It's the broken murder weapon.
Notice the award Prosecutor Marshall was holding.
That's a broken knife.
As we earlier concluded, the knife in the drawing was not Joe Dark's knife. That being the case, the knife the witness saw was in all likelihood from this award. And now,
I do love Edward.
another piece clicks into place.
I do love
Why
Edward.
Gant wanted to abolish this helmet off of that.
I also, I love Edgeworth's reaction.
Ah!
It's like, ah! Order! Yo,
Order! Neil Marshall was awarded King of Prosecutors that day. As an award, he was given this broken shield and knife. When he chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out this knife. Being a prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol. This broken knife was the only weapon he had in a dangerous situation. Are you figured it out yet?
but that can't be.
Oh? And why not, Mr. Edgeworth?
Because of the King of Prosecutors award, knife was the murder weapon.
The does that mean?
Then the murderer and the victim would be reversed.
Well, a movie earlier you say, oh, it isn't.
Yeah. All that shows is someone erasing a
Someone
knife.
raising a broken knife to somebody else.
Never said that it was.
I'm still surprised you haven't figured out the major issue yet. There's a major contradiction that everybody seems to have forgotten about. What do you mean?
I mean, this man raising the knife would have been Prosecutor Neil Marshall.
Oh. Oh! But the prosecutor was the one who actually died. That is true.
It seems Mr. Wright has been a bit too eager to jump to conclusions.
Wait, I remember now. I remember everything.
Yes?
Mr. Edgeworth. Could you show me your evidence list again, please?
His list? The one with that picture scribbled on the back?
I knew it. This picture. I'm the one who drew it.
What?
You drew that?
That's right. This was important half of the time I drew this picture. All this time I've been trying so hard to forget.
Gee. That's interesting.
Really?
Oh, I know. It's interesting. I'm waiting for you to figure it out.
Must have locked this pit apart deep away inside me.
Perhaps it would be best if we added this to the.
Perhaps it would be best if we added this to Mrs. testimony. Would you please tell us what you would call Miss Sky?
Yes, Your Honor.
Just a knife mixed up another blue. This should be interesting.
It's not the blue badger.
Oh, what brings that up?
It's the vase.
Stop picking up the cheat sheet.
I'm not. I figured that myself.
So did I. It's your fucking line!
When I saw that man raise his knife, I panicked and rushed toward both of them. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. Just then there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger. He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow.
It's not the blue badger. It's the vase.
This is certainly most unusual.
Try impossible. Chief of Detectives hasn't even designed him. Hadn't even designed him until it.
Oh my god, I never noticed that.
The detectives hadn't even designed him.
I didn't even notice the typo in that until just now.
That would mean he didn't even exist.
That would mean he didn't even exist 2 years ago. Yes, well, the defense may now begin its cross-examination.
Stop, please. Don't pursue this any further.
Lana, what's the meaning of this? Please remain seated in the defendant's chair.
You can't do this. I've already confessed to the crime. Why can't you just leave it at that?
Any ideas as to why?
Because that's not the kind of guy Phoenix Wright is. He has to get to the bottom
No,
of it.
any idea why she's so adamant about ending it?
Because Lana is the one who killed them. Or at least Lana is the reason the vase broke. She either killed someone or she probably killed Neil Marshall because by smashing the vase over his head. Or throwing the vase at him. Chief Prosecutor Sky. We've already come this far. It's too late to turn back.
Silence! The defense will now begin its cross-examination. Bailiff, please detain the defendant. Seems we're finally getting to the core of the matter. Well, I know what happens. And I know exactly how it happens.
And was the one who killed Marshall.
Yeah, it's
Objection!
the base. The base is the Blue Badger. The mysterious Blue Badger was, in fact, this. But that's... what exactly is that? I believe it's some sort of jar.
But Mr. Wright, that doesn't look anything like the Blue Badger.
Indeed it doesn't. As it stands now, it's just a plain jar. I don't know why I changed my voice. However, what if we would change our viewpoint? Our viewpoint? Get out of show them the and look at this one.
There it is.
Take that! Objection!
Shit. Oh my god, I figured out how annoying this thing really is.
Take that!
Oh my god!
Objection!
This is gonna be the hardest part. This is the most annoying part to it.
Thank goodness that.
This is why you actually have to use the cheat sheet on it. Because it literally has the picture of it.
Take that!
Oh my god!
Thank goodness you aren't getting penalties for this. They knew how hard this was going to be to get right. Please make it stop. This is getting so annoying.
Natalie! Well, is this a miracle or what? No one can possibly deny this strong resemblance to the Blue Badger, as much as we want to. And by the way,
No, it can't be.
sorry, but it is.
Yo. OJ.
Order! Order! The defense has proven its claim. The mysterious Blue Badger witnessed on the day of the crime is actually this.
Although we all enjoyed Mr. Wright's dramatic performance, one question remains. What's your point?
What do you mean?
So that badger thing was actually just a jar. It doesn't change anything.
Objection!
Okay, that's where you're
I
wrong.
bet that's where you're wrong, Mr. Edward. See, this changes everything.
Very well, then please tell us. What's different now that we know that the witness saw this job?
Allow me to take these in turn. At the moment of the murder, the witness saw this jar.
And a very specific angle, I might add, Mr. Wright.
Yes, well, knowing this, well, could she have seen this jar? Yeah. The location of the jar is shown in a picture taken on the day of the crime. It's on a shelf in the office of Damon Gant.
The body was found lying near Lana Sky's desk. The witness testified so herself.
Yes, and it is these two facts that reveal what actually transpired. You see, the struggle between Dark and Marshall did not take place in Lana Sky's office. It happened on the other side of the room in Chief Gant's office.
Are you implying the murderer moved the victim's body? Yes, we are. From Damon Gant's office to Lana Sky's office?
Yes.
Why would he do that? There's no reason.
Exactly. If there wasn't a reason, he wouldn't have gone through the trouble. The only logical conclusion is that there was a reason.
You know what that reason
You
means,
know what
Mr.
the
Wright?
reason was, Mr. Wright. finally figured it out. So this is why Lana tried to stop the trial. Have you figured it out?
At least I think I have.
It's too late to quit now, though. Please recall the witness's testimony. She said she knocked away the man who was holding up the knife. In the next instant, the jaw was hit and flew through the air. Now tell me, what could have sent the jaw flying? That would have to have been the impact the man made when he was knocked into the wall. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may draw your attention to this picture once more. If the man was knocked in the direction of the shelf the jaw was sitting on, what would he have hit? You figured it out yet? The suit of armor, holding a very sharp and dangerous sword. Yes. And since the man who was knocked into the armor was carrying a broken knife, he would have had to have been Neil Marshall, wielding the King of Prosecutors trophy.
No, Mr. Wright, you can't be thinking.
Oh, I am. You know what I'm thinking?
Yep. Emma's responsible for
Yes.
Marshall's death.
There's another possibility of what actually transpired in that room. Another possibility. Of course, the perpetrator would have had no idea, but nevertheless. I don't know if I can get through this. Mr. Wright, what's the matter?
This defense took place as the defense theorizes, and the outcome is obvious. In that moment, assuming the man Emma's guy knocked away was actually prosecutor Neil Marshall.
Now you understand why I like this case.
Mm-hmm.
It's the biggest twist ever.
You mean Mr. Marshall died because of me? No!
Yeah.
Thud.
Done.
I never imagined her testimony would lead to this.
So it was the witness who took the victim's life, and then proved so with her own testimony. This is unprecedented. What are you saying? Sorry, Miss Guy, but given the circumstances.
Judge appointed prosecutor Marshall. How can you think it was Emma? How dare you try to pin the crime on her?
Imagine that coming from you.
Ouch.
If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved Prosecutor Marshall's body was to keep anyone else from finding out about what Emma did, wasn't it?
That's strange, Mr. Edward. I have no idea what you're talking about. If you hope to have anyone believe your insane allegations, I'm afraid you're going to have to have proof. Do you have any conclusive evidence to prove my sister?
We might have a little bit of other evidence.
No evidence.
Yes, it certainly would be difficult to prove this with evidence.
We don't have evidence. We'll have to rely on testimony. Oh, we have evidence.
Steve?
I
I'm
think
afraid
that
that won't work. Both parties involved in the incident were dead.
You said we can't get dead people to testify. This has all been a wild goose chase from the beginning.
the leather. Touché, Miss Guy. Of course, that only leaves us with one possibility.
You mean there's still another possibility? What do you mean, Mr. Edward?
I mean the possibility that the victim has left us a message.
So you...
For better or for worse, Mr. Marshall did not die instantly. He may have looked behind the name of the person who took his life. In one manner or another. That's impossible. Wait, that was you.
That's impossible.
Well, Mr. Wright, this is the only possibility left to you. A message from the deceased. Does such a message exist? Then we went to the court. We'll matter his name.
Oh, I remember now. Piece of evidence everyone forgot about a long time ago.
What?
That scrawled note, I think.
What scroll note?
You know the one I'm talking about.
What scroll note? Which one are you talking about? This message from the deceased is already in our possession.
Mr. Wright, go to you.
Mr. Wright, would you stop at nothing to prove my sister a murderer?
Do not be mistaken this time. Our purpose is not to accuse Emma of any crime. There's only one thing we seek. The truth. No matter how painful it may be.
Now then, Mr. Wright, please show us the piece of evidence that conveys a message from the deceased. Do you think it's this?
Thought it might have been that, but no. I couldn't remember what was actually on it.
You didn't notice it, did you?
I forgot about it.
Did you? Did you notice it? Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is yet? Shall I show it to you?
Sure.
Let me actually be able to zoom in on it. Shall I show it to you? It's almost as if something strange is on there. It's almost as if something was on there. This is the message left by the scene. This is the blue badger from the school, right?
Oh, is he just going to speak the king's name?
If that thing could, I'm sure it would.
Looks like everyone's forgotten that this is just a jar. Message was left here, on the surface of this jar. What do you mean? If you look closely, you can see a faint trail of blood on this jar.
Looks like someone wiped the blood away.
Yes, but notice, for some reason, the blood on some of the fragments was not wiped away. Yes, there's a line here, drawn in blood.
So what you're saying is these dogs were once lives. Connect the dots.
Prosecutor Marshall did not die instantly. He used the few precious moments left to him to leave behind a message.
One that someone apparently wiped away. The blood must have seeped into the jar where the lines changed directions.
Precisely so. All we need to do is connect these points, and the victim's message will become apparent. We already know what it says. Any idiot can figure it out. Mr. Wright, what kind of message did the victim leave for us?
Kind of play connect the dots.
I believe these blood stains will adhere to our stains. It's a lot easier now. It's the defense attorney's duty to prove the client's innocent. That's why all I've been thinking about is saving Lana. After all my efforts, I never thought it would turn out like this.
Alright, let's do this.
Emma.
So this is the final message Prosecutor Marshall left behind. Oh, yo, Judge.
All the people. She may not have meant it, but but in the end, the one who took the victim's life was Emma Skye. See whether. Can't say I didn't warn you.
Do you understand the
Do you understand the implications of what you've done?
What are you talking about?
2 years ago, Joe Dark was sentenced to death. He was convicted because of spinal murder. I believe you were the prosecutor in the case, were you not?
Ugh.
Yes, were they? And because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death. Not only that, but you used forged evidence to ensure his conviction. But your dog really was a serial hunter. That's undeniable. I'm afraid that's not important. Didn't you know we are defenders of justice? What? We're merely keepers of the law. Sentencing a man to death is no light matter. Even if it wasn't any cover-up or evidence forgery, ultimately the responsibility falls on the prosecutor in charge. Despite what anyone may say, this fact cannot be denied. Order! The gavel's pounding falls on deaf ears. Unable to settle the crowd, the judge declared a recess. Where this trial is headed, no one knows.
How much is left?
Not as much.
Okay, good. We'll finish it off then. If it was going to be another case of...
It should be about a half an hour, probably less.
Alright. 4-hour long episode, but that's fine. I want to get... We all wanted to see the back of this case.
Yes, we did.
Because this case has been going on for far too long. It's almost like this whole case was meant to be one game all by itself.
Well, I can spoil something for you. This case was never in the original.
I know, it was
It was specifically made for the DS.
yeah, it's almost like it was meant to be its own game.
It wasn't. It was also made for the American audience.
Well, basically the entire case.
Maybe what I
was
want faith. Travel 6. District Court defended lobby number 2. Sorry, Edward. I didn't mean to get you in trouble.
This is my problem, not yours. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals.
You'll be seeing a lot of gumshoe. It'll be like his voice.
Oh, yes I am. I'll come back later.
Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it?
He seems so bad.
You've got a lot of nerve, pal. Make you a detective run all around while on duty. And to top it off, you called me here. I've seen happier people at funerals.
I take it Lana's having you run errands again.
Feels like we've read that live before.
Yeah, that's what she was. You're lying.
Let me tell you, this is the last time, pal. Here, she asked me to give this to you if there was a break in today's trial.
Everything's small. That's the other day.
You must know the true rules of evidence, Paul. Rule 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems like you can at least study some evidence along, really. Chief prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message. The chief prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message.
A message?
She said, if you're planning to take him home, you're gonna need this book.
I guess I'll need to give this book a glory.
Doesn't look like that book will do you any good now. Oh, time to nail Jacksepticles to the wall.
You still have a line, you idiot.
All that's left now is the chief prosecutor's sentence.
That's where you're wrong, Detective.
Huh? Haven't you figured it out yet? Why am I still sitting in that prosecutor's chair? I see. Despite all these allegations being thrown at me? Mr. Edgeworth, the real trial today hasn't begun yet. What else is there left to do? Your credibility's been all but ruined with this forged evidence you are unaware of. Emma Sky found out she unwittingly caused a man's death. And now you're telling me you want to do more? You gotta be kidding me, pal.
You're missing the point, Detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. She merely stuck a knife into his dead body. That means the real killer is still out there.
What?
Going to expose him. No matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end. What's your time to do it?
February 25th, 1252, District Courtroom number 9.
Court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. Mr. Edgeworth.
Yes, Your Honor.
The inquiry committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions.
Thank you for the news, Your Honor.
Yes, well, normally this is where the prosecution calls forth a witness. But, this isn't easy to say. You see, there is some concern that you, Mr. Edgeworth, may have,
Struck a bargain? You think I may have manipulated the witness?
I didn't say that. It's just, you see, everyone has been talking, and...
Very well, Your Honor. I have a solution.
A solution?
This being the case, prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all further witnesses.
What? There's no precedent for what you're proposing.
Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement, but very effective one. It will prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses.
Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say? Unbelievable. Edgeworth has found a way to continue the trial. Very well. The defense accepts the prosecution's proposal. It is settled. The defense may now call forth the next witness.
Mr. Wright, you do realize this is your last chance. Call the wrong witness. This trial is as good as over.
The defense calls. I save it for a reason.
Just in case you fuck up.
No, I know who to call. I might accidentally hit the wrong one. It's finally come to bring out the real murderer.
Take that!
Damon Gantz. The defense calls Damon Gantz to the stand. Damon Gantz? What does he have to do with anything? As the defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gantz has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it.
As luck would have it, he should still be in the courtroom, courthouse. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor?
True. All right, bailiff, please escort Mr. Gunn to the stand. I could have fun talking to myself again.
Yes, Jacksepticlex. Witness, please state your name and occupation.
What is this, some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch.
Your name and occupation, sir.
Worthy, are you sure you want to do this?
Your name and occupation.
So, you want to play hardball, eh? Please, Mr. Gantz. My name is Damon Gantz. I'm the acting chief of police. Now then, chicken. The court requests to hear your testimony. Oh, Ryder, what's with the good face? First, let's clear up this SL9 incident. Oh, you mean that time when Lana's sister murdered the prosecutor? Personally, I think it's been made pretty clear already. There's still some things I'm not. Oh, like what? Like the role you played in all of this. Son, either you're very brave or very foolish. You are aware, of course, that the police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Sure. Take my testimony, for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to. What? Is that true? I'm afraid so. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify.
Of course, such an action carries with it certain risks.
Don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. Very well. The witness may now begin his testimony. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. Our outage didn't help that either. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery.
Sure you didn't. But I'm the King of England.
Is that when Doc was arrested? Him. He was lying on the floor unconscious. When I was sitting near flying, it seems Darko bumped his head.
Darko?
I said Darko.
You said Darko?
What? Fuck, leave me alone. You try talking in an accent like this, it makes it seem anything extensive. Let's see, everything seems pretty clear-cut. If the police chief has the right to refuse to testify, then I better hit him hard and fast. Ready?
Yes.
Let's get to the bottom of this.
Objection!
You claim you had nothing to do with the forgery. But I'm afraid that's a claim you cannot back up. Explain yourself. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this jar, for example. This is the blue badger you showed us earlier. I don't know where the fuck I put the logo. A piece of this jar was discovered in your safe. Not only that, but the evidence list I presented earlier was actually found inside your desk. It was found where? You see, Chief Gant, these articles of evidence uncovered in your office are both concrete proof that you also played a part in the illegal investigation. That works out well.
What? Yep.
Okay. I'm just gonna spoil it for you. There's one other piece of evidence other than the evidence list and unstable jaw that I could have presented.
The leather cloth.
Except there's one problem.
What?
You just broke evidence law number 2.
What?
It has no what's the relevance to the case? It was never registered.
Yep.
You immediately lose. Everything. Emma basically gets arrested for it and you're fucked.
If you present
If you do it, you lose the case. Instantly.
the leather cloth.
If you present that as evidence, you lose the case instantly. There is no second chance. You lose it instantly. Chief Gant, what's the meaning of this? Oh, here's a defense attorney who may even rival Worthy. So you admit to it then, that you were involved in the forgery? Who me? What do you mean, you? Hey, why would I have anything to do with that? Well, you were the one who snuck into my office when you found this evidence. Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know. Defense attorneys can do so too. Isn't that right, Ryder?
However, Detective Gumshoe wasn't present during the investigation. Was present during the investigation.
Well then, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Mr. Sure Dick will receive his due punishment. What? Detective Gumshoe's salary drops any further, he'll end up paying to work. Yes, well, in light of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence you found in your office and the relationship to the forgery that took place at the crime scene. My, kids these days no longer know how to put 2 to 2 together. Let's see, what was it now? A jaw fragment and a list? For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason I participate in a forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way.
Oh, that's good. Mr. Wright?
Mr. Wright. Yes, Sean?
Was that what you were going to ask me about?
Yes, that was what I asked you. I thought there was something else to it. I fucked that one up majorly. We should have been more careful.
Let me guess, you screwed that up the first time?
Yep. Because I'm like, I don't know the evidence. Until they're going to present it. Oh, yeah, that's not it.
That's why they gave you the evidence law, so you could look through it and...
Yep.
And of course, you didn't give it a thorough read like the game told you to do.
You do understand that I'm the chief of police, right? There will be consequences. Indeed. I believe I will press charges so you won't make the same mistake again. My apologies, Chief. Would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today as well. Alright, Reggie. In return now. I know. That place, right? Huh? What are these guys telepathic? Well, Chief Grant, at the very least, there's one very important benefit you reap from all this. Oh, I wasn't aware. What is this benefit? That would be, of course, the position you have, Chief of Police. Oh. The resolution of the SL9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. That in and of itself is a sufficient motive. Oh, that's a good one. Do you really think I'm that incompetent? What do you mean? Even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of SL9 merely speed up the inevitable a little.
Is that for you?
Is that true, Edgeworth?
Yes, she was going to be made chief anyway.
Be careful when pointing that finger. You might wind up being the one pointed at.
So that means it's an impossible motivation for you to be forced. If you didn't do it for yourself, then you did it for someone else.
Don't be silly with it. You know me better than that. There are only 3 people to look out for. Me, myself, and I. There, it's out in the open now. Archie, would you mind if I change my testimony a little? By all means, please do.
I would.
That wouldn't be anyone's accomplice if there's nothing in it for me. Nothing in it for you. Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. That girl, Lana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you better think again.
You're right. You don't feel sorry for anything.
Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised.
You seem to be lax enough on yourself, though.
Oh, that's a good one, Mother. Could there have been something in given selfishness? Would it help someone out? True, you might not help anyone out. You might not help out anyone for their sake. But what if it would benefit you? But if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone. Mr. Wright, it appears you're positively determined to portray the chief as a nice person who likes to lend people a hand. That's not what I mean. Very well then. Who is this person you believe Chief Gant may have helped forge evidence?
Of course, Lana.
They're fucking 13 years apart.
Wow.
I like to take Huh. Interesting. Interesting. Sorry. She's just fucking young compared to everybody else.
Take that!
Chief Prosecutor Lana Scott, the defendant? I believe it's quite obvious in light of the circumstances. Emma Skye fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who would want to help her more than her own sister Lana? And as for Chief Gant, he would also have a reason to help Lana if she asked him to. The reason, of course, is self-profit. Self-profit? What do you mean? After the SL9 incident was resolved, Lana Skye was appointed chief prosecutor at the prosecutor's office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gang. How would he profit from all of this?
He'd be able to use the chief prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations.
Do you mean to tell me that despite the chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets?
Dear God. Sometimes the judges...
I'm gonna leave this here for a minute so you guys can soak up the idiocy that the judge is.
There's apparently another case that you can lose instantly.
There is.
There's a case where you can accuse the judge of being the culprit, and if you do, you lose instantly.
That's not the one I was referring to. No, there actually is another case where you can fuck yourself over.
Anyway.
Wait. I was gonna respond to something. Just dead silence. Oh wait. You must mean puppet as in someone forced to do his bidding. Never mind! Minute, Chief. You assisted Lana Skye in forging evidence. Your motive, to appoint her as chief prosecutor so you could control her. Right on, my boy. You have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something. What? Do you have any proof of this? That I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing? Just keeping quiet to protect them. There's no way she'd testify against me. I'm afraid without any proof, this all amounts to nothing more than mere conjecture.
That is also what happened in this incident.
This incident? Which one would that be?
Of course I'm talking about the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman. The chief prosecutor has been acting strange throughout this entire trial. Almost as if someone has been controlling her. What are they? You better...
Well, you better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want you to get hurt. Just what do you mean? What he means, Your Honor, is that the Chief Gang is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, but the Chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement. What? Order! 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 I said order! Order! Mr. Wright, you can't be serious, huh? This is an affront to the highest-ranking officer in our law enforcement agency to accuse the chief of police of blackmail and murder. It's impossible. Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edgeworth said in easier-to-understand language.
It's too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back for us now.
It looks like he's the one who decided to go through with this. Can you prove this, Mr. Wright? That the chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, is involved in this murder? Question.
Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. The question is he permanent? Having the evidence will pass.
I see. Alright then, let's see what Mr. Wright's got, and it better be good! Show us this evidence that ties Chief Gant to the murder of Detective Goodman. Do you know what it is?
I know what I think it is.
What do you think it is?
I think it's the phone, because she got a phone call ordering her to do it, remember?
Take that!
This is the ID code.
Oh yeah.
Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There was one ID on the list we couldn't determine the owner of this today. 7777777777. Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that that's my card number. It's your number. What? How do you know that? The safe in Chief Gant's office requires a code to open. A 7-digit code. 7 digits? You don't mean. I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was 7777777. The same as the remaining ID card number on that list. Chief Gant, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. Order! Order! Chief Gant, what do you have to say? Nothing. The defendant's search of my office was in violation of regulations.
And I will demand Mr. Wright be punished to the maximum extent of the law. But right now, this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card.
Chief Gant, so you admit it? You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime? What about it? I'm chief of police, whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom, what's the difference? I can go anywhere I want.
So, you entered the room. You would.
Let's go to the bathroom alone. That's how you do with the evidence room. Detective McGooden wouldn't have been with you that day, would he? Of course not. Why would he be? I hadn't seen him in days. You hadn't seen him in days? Chief Gant, I'm afraid you just undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? This trial's purpose is to determine Lana Sky's guilt.
No, it isn't. The trial's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Gant met the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting? In that case,
In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have to ask you for evidence. Show us the proof that the victim went to meet Chief Gant on the day of the crime. Gladly.
Take that!
Detective Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime.
what would be more accurate, Chief Marshal stole it.
So Detective Goodman filled out a lost item report. You would have had to give that report to the Chief of Police. Yet you are in possession of the report, which means you can't be sure if you filed it. You filed it. How do I know, you ask? Because you needed to enter the evidence room that day. You needed to? Yes, to transfer the evidence out. Oh. Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied the detective to the evidence room. I accompanied him? Yeah, fucking change it, but there's no other way the murderer and Detective Goodman could have entered the room. I was wrong, there's more case to it. Oopsie. Hold on. Let me guess what you're going to say next. I, the Chief of Police, murdered poor Goodman. I don't even fucking know what his accent is anymore. Exactly. But wait, the Chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. He could have just lent him his ID card. Yes. Now that you mention it, I believe I might have done something of the sort.
Objection!
Sorry, but that's not possible. According to the record, your card was only used once. You showed us your ID card earlier. If you had really lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found on his body.
No!
I think he just been Super Saiyan.
No! Chief Gant, you didn't. The murder was most likely a spur-of-the-moment crime, for no one in their right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit murder. After the murder, you contacted Lana and the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course. Well, I gotta do something because
Kidding, Mr. Wright. The victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office's parking lot. How did you manage to move it there?
I was at the police station the entire day, you know.
Everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony.
Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal. Oh, so you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey, you, take this your dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so. Chief Gant, you have all the evidence we need to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. All this time, I thought it was a useless clue just taking up space. You know what it is?
Now it's got my head. I haven't.
How could the chief have moved the body? Mr. Wright, show us this evidence. With the victim's body, Chief can't use this. That's a lot of evidence.
That's why I didn't know.
Would you like to know?
Sure.
What's the one piece
Screwdriver.
What's the one piece of evidence that just seems so out of place?
Take that!
This is how I moved Detective Goodman's body. It's not a screwdriver. But what does that have to do with this case? Mr. Edgeworth, think back to the day of the crime. What is this screwdriver doing here?
It's here because... Ah!
Figured it out.
I was asked to go by Chief Gat, no less. Told me he wanted to keep it here in the
flashbacks. It's the same
in the prosecutor's office. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. After the ceremony ended that day, I didn't plan to return to the prosecutor's office.
But you did, because Chief can't ask you to.
You mean I...
The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. I think it's obvious from that. The body was moved by that car. Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Dr. Edgeworth's car. Yes, unless, of course, you have another explanation. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transport evidence from a closed case? There's only one plausible explanation. To transport the body to your accomplice. Miss Lana Sky.
Order. You.
Order! 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 What's going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal to the defense's outrageous accusations? Think back to the photograph Miss Starr took to the prosecutor's office. This is not a photo of the body being stuffed in the trunk to be taken away. It is exactly the opposite.
It's a photo of a body being taken from the trunk.
Chief Gant, please say something! I believe. Your time's up. What time's up? Sorry, Ryder, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. I'm going to get going if we're going to make it in time for the early bird special. The cross-examination isn't finished yet. But remember what I told you earlier. The police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right now. What? That is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered.
So you're going to just run away after all this?
Run away? Don't make me laugh, were they? I stabbed old Goodman. Is that what you're saying, right? If you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now. No lie. You think I had Lana dispose of the body? If so, then show your proof and get it over with. Do we have proof? I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gans is the current chief of police. This court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright? Got it. Do you have any concrete proof? Proof that Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman and made Miss Sky dispose of his body. Do we
I
have?
actually don't know.
There's no use showing evidence I'm not even sure of myself. No, Your Honor. At present, I have no conclusive evidence. Trilogy! In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for your allegations against the chief. Here's a tip. Never gamble what you can't afford to lose, right? Seems the Little League was on my side once again today. Okay, Archie. I'll leave the rest to you. Fuck. We have a lot more coming.
Alright, we'll end it after this day, then.
We have a lot more coming. Well, dude, you wanted to finish it.
Yeah, but 4 hours is enough. Once we're given the next opportunity to save, we're ending it.
Well, warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an affront to the senior officer at our nation's all law enforcement agency.
Lady Luck, Maybe we should have a word with her.
Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean?
There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't yet had the honor of hearing her testimony.
The lady who knows the truth. Another witness!
In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony.
Chief Kent has invoked his right to refuse to testify.
There's still someone else. One more witness who can answer all the questions raised in this trial. Someone right in this very room.
Mr. Edgeworth, who is this person?
Lana, that's the only person I can think of. Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one calling witnesses today.
Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist? You may not be able to tell the truth, but we can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honor. Defense calls forth the defendant. Miss Lana Sky. She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 on February 21st. A test to dispose of the victim's body. In accordance with a certain someone's orders. Mr. Edgeworth.
The prosecution has no objections, Your Honor.
Very well. The court will now take its final recess for the day. In 15 minutes, we will reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court is now in... Hold it! Chief Gaunt, I thought you were going to eat. Listen, good Lana. He's talking now. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences. That's right. His sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. Of course you never support such outrageous claims anyway, right? Just something to think about. Alright then, I've got a lunch date to meet. I really hate that man.
Yes, I do too. Even if he is Jackson.
Okay, if there aren't any further objections, this court is now in recess.
Managed to stay in the game.
Yeah, thanks to your help, Ezra.
That chief, he's something else, eh, pals?
He's like the gumshoe!
I'm not a detective anymore, by the way.
Oh yeah, sorry about that.
We should have investigated how long this actually would be.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think you thought that this was gonna be a lot shorter than it wound up being.
Yeah, I keep forgetting about how long it is. Hey, will you fucking do it?
Ah, don't worry, I've already decided where to work now. At your office!
My office?
Sure. I'll take the place of that top-knotted girl you used to work with.
Does he mean... my...
Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Gant's done it again. How is it he always gets the upper hand?
It's not fair he has the right to refuse to testify.
Settle down, Wright. Remember what the judge said.
But Chief, that is not the right to be casually involved. There's such a risk to be considered. Fucking Chief's a boyfriend. Take time to not say risks. What did you mean by that?
Simple. If the chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true. mean he forfeits
His
his...
right to say anything, too. No, it's Emma! Emma! Are you okay?
Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery.
So she heard everything. What's going on?
Considering she's being accused of murder, she looks entirely too cheery right now.
Yep. I'm sorry for what I said before.
No, don't be. It was the truth. You know what's funny? I almost feel somehow relieved.
Relieved?
Yeah, now I finally know what truly happened. What really happened. The thing that all of this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man. And she did it all just to protect me.
Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor. Everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it's easier that way. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gant's orders. She must have shut herself up deep inside. Forced herself to do anything and everything that Chief told her to.
That must be why she became so cold.
It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall. Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. If you want to blame anyone, blame society, pal. You can start a punk band and really get society all day long. Yeah, sorry, that joke had to be made.
I didn't even know the joke you were trying to go.
Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery.
Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery.
Yo,
We can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor.
Beep.
I see. Well, we better get back. It's time for the final act.
Funny that he's not even safe, I mean. No, why don't you wait here?
No, I'm going with you. I want to be there. And Lana tells the truth.
Let's go, Wright. It's time to end this.
Nope, there's a safe one.
Yay!
Okay, that was a little longer than I expected it to be.
Probably by about 2 hours, but...
Well,
Alright,
I'll
so...
have to do a weird split on this now.
Yeah.
Safe card goes, hell yeah, you save it.
From now on, we're only doing 1 day of a trial each session we play.
Maybe we could just do the whole trial.
Anyway,
Is that what we always did?
I don't know.
Yeah. We would have originally done the full day last time.
Yeah.
Because this one still would have been 4 hours. But yeah, that'll end it here. It'll be split in a weird way. So, I apologize about that. This will be the only case where we have to do this weird fucking splitting split. We'll
Right.
have each individual part separated.
Alright, so
That'll do it all for Phoenix Strike today.
see you next time on...
I don't have one more.
You gotta come up with one.
It's your turn.
Nope.
It's your turn.
No, it's not.
I don't have anything.
Come up with something.
I don't have anything. Phoenix Piece! There you go. Bye!